I have visited and helped countless schools in Europe and North America. In all schools, with no exception, someone comes to me at some point to ask the following questions. Do you see a way for us to improve academic performance? In many cases, it pairs with a question about relational skills of the students. In troubled schools, a third question is usually asked, how do you lower the stress of our teachers? Trying to answer these three questions separately leads to poor and short-term answers. It's like trying to get a better light by improving a candle. So my answer to them is yes, if. If you are ready to embrace a paradigm shift, then yes, you can increase your pupils or student academic results, have a more peaceful class, work less, be less stressed, even with more students in your class, even if they have different levels. You may think, this guy must be silly, let's turn that video off, he certainly wants to sell me something. So who am I? I have not produced much English content for schools, so I don't expect you to have ever heard of me yet. I have a master degree in IT, which helps to analyze how complex system works, such as schools, for example. The first half of my career, I've innovated in the field of adult education for computer science. I've been teaching computer science in classes to thousands of programmers and trained dozens of instructors. When I was 40, I sold my company to the e-learning market leader. At that time, we had hundreds of thousands of programmers learning collaboratively over the internet on our systems. After that, I had one question. All these learning innovations that I've done for IT people, would it work for kids? I did not find any obvious answer in the 100 pedagogy books I read at that time. So I had to try by myself, and that's how I became a school teacher working with 6 to 10 years old. Multiple classes have been very successful with my way of doing. I made mistakes, and that made me learn. And I have improved how to apply a paradigm shift in education. I have written a book in French relating the whole story. I figured out that what I've been doing matches innovations popping up around the world. It matches the experimental scientific research of the last 50 years, such as described by John Hattie in his famous meta-analysis. I also found in neuroscience the explanation why it works is as easy as following how the brain is designed to learn. Now I transform schools around the world. My main domain of expertise is probably to understand how to ease the transition of a school. So, why every teacher don't do it then, should ask me? Because there is a price to pay. Something terribly uncomfortable for most teachers. You must change your teaching habits. You must forget about the 19th century school model that you know since you are 3 years old, and you must acquire new patterns and routines. It seems to be as difficult as losing weight or quit smoking. It's difficult, but it's reachable. My partners and I are here to help. We share everything for free since the development costs are supported by European Commission. The principles we follow are very simple to explain, but most teachers don't really understand it until they live it in the classroom. That's why when I help a school, I don't do a conference or course for teachers anymore. It does not work. But when I coach teachers in their classroom with their students, then they can feel how a 21st century class works. So it's probably useless to try to explain it in this short video, but let's do it anyway. I don't want to seem mystical. Let's start to see how it looks like with the 19th century class. Students are sorted by age. They are silent and face a teacher who explains chapter 8. It's too far for some students who didn't understand chapter 6 yet. It's too slow for others who understood chapter 8 a long time ago. It matches the Industrial Revolution needing an obedient and hierarchical workforce trained for repetitive tasks. How does it happen now in our traditional schools? Quite surprisingly, it did not change much. Obviously, you don't have to blow walls between classes to apply a 21st century oriented pedagogy. In our new setting, the teacher cannot explain chapter 8 anymore to all students at the same time. Because some students are still busy with chapter 6, and some others are busy with chapter 12. One may even be finished all chapters months before the end of the year, which is great news. Teachers do not give tasks or activities to the students anymore. Teachers set crystal clear objectives, and students are free to choose the way they learn. How to achieve that? First, you design an assessment test for each chapter. The assessment must have a random aspect. So if a student fails the assessment and tries again, he cannot succeed because of remembering the answers. For example, if you are a math teacher, the test could be succeed 8 out of 10 equations that I randomly select from the 50 equations from page 68 to page 72 in your math book. Every time that a student takes a test, you select 10 different equations randomly. That's the easy part. Second, you stop explaining. You probably think that I'm crazy and you are ready to turn that video off again. I understand. Not explaining is so hard for a teacher. Look at me, for example. I know it's useless to try to explain the method in this video, but I cannot stop myself doing it. You start the chapter by showing the assessment, and students may ask to take the assessment as soon as they feel ready. If they fail, they can start again until they succeed with 80%. 80. But you don't explain the chapter to the class. You don't teach. You encourage students to learn, and soon your students will start explaining each other. Of course, they are free to look and learn in their textbook and on the internet. I will not explain more of the method in this video. We have designed a teacher-friendly step-by-step process for you to learn and experience it. During the transition phase, it's more work because you have to learn. But after a couple of months, you don't need to prepare lessons anymore, and you don't bring copies to correct home anymore. Your students become more autonomous, more motivated, and improve their relationship with each other since they help each other every day. It worked with students from 3 to 66, maybe older, but I didn't try that far, to be honest. At kindergarten, it's similar to Montessori. The assessments are the Montessori activities. With all the students, you use the same school book that you have always used. In 2018, at the time of making this video, we are not many to be able to coach a class or a school with that transformation process. We are located in Belgium, Greece, Italy, and Norway. You may also try to do it by your own. We give all training material for free. Just help yourself on our website, SchoolTransformationLab.eu.